So guys, today's topic is very interesting as well as it is very tough, I will say. So I'm going to go and tough means, the what happens is the demo starts becoming tough eventually. Sorry. So I'm going to go and exit from all the chat windows first. Right. So guys, today's topic is on uh, telemetry, instrumentation, debugging, profiling, tracing, right? And all this, right? Now, what I will do is I know this is all app services. I want to just take this as a separate topic altogether. It's all inside app service, but I want to like give focus on this topic. Sell, yeah, right? So here, this top just like today's lecture, and I don't know, must be I will take tomorrow's lecture also. Very important topic this is. So first, I would like to ask here that how many of you guys understand this difference between these vocabularies before I start also? Telemetry, instrumentation, debugging, I think everyone is aware, profiling, tracing. So can everyone just put on the chat that yes, we understand the differences? Yeah. How many of you understand the differences of these words? They look all same, but it is not really same. Okay, so I can see many people saying, no, we don't understand it. Fine. So let me take these words out here. Actually, I was thinking of skipping this, but fine, so let me put it on the notepad and let us first discuss these words, because what will happen is, okay, my voice, I think I'm not connected to my mic. Okay. What कर दिया मैंने? Okay, yes. My mic is here. It's my mic. Okay, let me change because I think let me give me 2 minutes. I would like to give you a good mic. Why audio settings? Let me just switch to, yeah. So yeah, I just switched to my USB mic. Just am I audible to everyone? Yeah, previously I think the mic was just general. I've just switched to my USB mic. Let me know if the quality is better. I don't know. Sometimes. Yeah. Check. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine. So yeah. So sorry. Yeah, I was. So guys, let us discuss about this 2 3 things out here. Now see, what happens now, like specifically, uh, if English is your first speaking language, you will understand all this, right? For example, English is my second language. So what happens is I don't understand telemetry. With all respect, I was not understanding telemetry, and all these words looked very same to me. So let us understand properly these words, right? So see what happens. First thing is, um, let's talk about uh, telemetry. What telemetry means, sending some signals from one location to another location. So like if you see, a lot of people used to do telemetry during the wars, right? Tick 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 tick, something like that. So sending some information, right, on a regular basis, uh, from one place to another place. Now what is that first place? This first place will be ASP.NET, right? In this case, right, your code. And where is it going to send information? To some source, where it will get logged in, right? For example, in our case, we have application insight. So inside application insight, you can go and you can throw your telemetry data, and then you can visualize this data saying, for example, telemetry data can be request, how many requests happened. Telemetry data can be how much RAM was consumed. So on a regular basis, he will send this data out here, and you will log it into source, some destination, and on this you can go and then understand that how your application works. So that is called as telemetry. Okay, so this sending small pieces of information from one source to another source. Okay, but to send this telemetry information, right, you need to fit some instruments, right? For example, if you say, oh, like I want to measure the flow of water, then you need to fit some instrument, and that instrument will send you data, right? So this instrumentation means it is a process of putting some code into your ASP.NET, like for example, or into your web application, saying that okay, the button is clicked, okay, this happened, that happened. So the instrumentation is nothing but it is a process of putting that code who can send that telemetry data, or who can send the profiling data, and so on, right? So that is the instrumentation. Now, what is debugging? Debugging means, it is a process where the developer sits and he says, I want to go and debug this code and I want to fix it. So in Visual Studio, when you actually go and do this, right, this, when you say debug like this is debugging. This is debugging, right? So you can think about for debugging, we need source code, right? Let me go to tracing, then I'll come to profiling, right? Tracing means, okay, how is the application flowing? Where is it flowing, right? See, you know, telemetry data, can be some data like RAM or something, right? But when you say tracing, means, okay, he went to first index page, then he went here, then he went here, and then he went here, and the button click. So tracing is something different. Definitely, for doing tracing, must be you will need instrumentation. For doing telemetry, you will need instrumentation, isn't it? So all that is that. Now, coming to profiling, so profiling, over here, profiling means, that if you want to go and gather more performance data, for example, or you want to gather data saying that, okay, currently, which object is taking memory, too much memory, right? Profile of the application, or which of the requests are taking more. So profiling data is more related to performance data, right? So remember that whenever you're using this word, right, telemetry, instrumentation, debugging, tracing, they are all different, right? So definitely now we'll say, okay, so what is the context here in this today's class? So you have an ASP.NET application and you push it to your app service, right? Once you push it to your app service, you want to go and get some telemetry data, right? You want to get some like how many requests per second and so on, right? So first thing, by default, okay, so first thing is application insight. This application insight, you can think about, it is like it is like a listener, who can listen, to your application and gather information that what is happening. Okay. So whenever, if you look at your, so let's go to the Azure portal. Okay. Before I go there, let me, suddenly the diagram starts becoming problem, right? Again, what happens to my screen? I don't know, to my Wacom pen. Okay. So, okay, very quickly. So you have your web application, and from your web application, now let's assume situation number one. You have not put any instrumentation in your code, right? You have just uploaded the web application and you want to still hear some telemetry data, right? So for that, there is auto telemetry, auto instrumentation. So what you can do is that in your web application, you can just enable application insight, right? You can just enable application insight, right? And he will start giving you some basic telemetry data like request per second, or page loaded per second, or some file loaded per second, and so on, right? So basic telemetry data, if you want automatic telemetry data, you can get from a just by enabling application insight. So when you go and you create your, so let me go and create a, so portal.azure. So let me go out here and let us create an app service, right? And very quickly, let me host up an application as well. So I can just take a new one. I'll take up the questions later on. Yes, I can see one question here. So can we say telemetry data is like a ticker? Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what that word ticker is, but the point is that it sends information about the application, where the application is running, what is the memory it is consuming, right? And so on. I can see one more question. Are logging and telemetry same? No. See, logging means log. You are going to log an error. Please understand. When you're writing a log file, yeah, you can log telemetry information as well, but that logging is different. For example, in your I'm sorry, ASP.NET Core out here, you have this logger, right? I'm sorry. Sorry for that. So now this logger, um, when the application exception is there or something, it is there, but you won't like how many requests per second it is. I don't think that this is a way to write into a logger and then do it, right? So telemetry, or in case of telemetry, what happens is your application will throw that data into some other resource, and you won't be stopping your application, or it is not a blocking call. I don't know how to say that. In other words, it's going to go and log things into a third party like application insight, and from application insight you can visualize it. A logger is like, you log it to a text file, and then you have to go and visualize it, and then again for visualization you have to find some tools, right? So a logger and telemetry are different. Logger, telemetry, profiling are different. So this is not, I will not consider this as a this for instrumentation and everything, right? So this is out here. So now if I go and if I publish this, okay, so very quickly, if I have an app service, right, I'll just create a web app. I have a resource called as delete, res delete. So I'll just say here, quest 123, quest tele, right? I should have created this first before I came to the class. So sorry. It's fine. Create, right? Okay, now, so very quickly, when you go and you upload this application as it is, right, it will start giving you some basic telemetry information. But if you say no, like I want something more extra information, I want information, which is related to garbage collection, I want some more extra information, right? Then you need to go and add the application telemetry inside your application, right? Instrumentation inside your application. Instrumentation means what? You will put some code here, right? So what I'll do is I'll show both the demos in one go, the basic telemetry as well as the uh, what do you call the implementing the telemetry as well. So first thing is what you have to do is you will go to NuGet packages and you will install the application inside telemetry out here. So or instrumentation, right? Instrumentation. Remember, you are adding code, so definitely it is related to instrumentation. So you can see very nice. You can see there is something called as open telemetry as well, which is a third party. It's open source. So in case you say, like, for example, you will say, no, I don't want to use application insight. I want to use open telemetry. It's open source, but we'll see that later on. So application insight for now, we want to log it into application insight. Let me do like this. I have one application out here. How about just taking that dependency, that package, right? So yeah, can't I go and just copy this? All right, so this is to log into application insight, right? So this is the instrumentation out here, and let us install this, right? So there it is getting installed. Now you also have to enable telemetry in your startup.cs file. So somewhere in an ASP.NET Core. Now remember the way I'm enabling in .NET, in the same way they have in Java as well. Please understand it. So in case you are a Java guy, then you have to install from Maven and you have to enable it, right? So now for enabling the telemetry out here, right? What you can do is people who are from Java or some other background, like Python, right? You can connect to me later on. If you say that, Shiv, I want to know that how to add telemetry into Python, please let me know. Okay. But at this moment, let us stick to this, right? Let us stick to .NET. So over here now in your starter.cs file, remember I have 3.1, very sad, right? You have to first go and add this as a part of services. Now, guys, I'm not teaching what is services, what is app and so on, right? This application builder, please go and see the ASP.NET Core videos, right? But what this line of code says that go and enable telemetry in your application, right? By putting this one line of code, now you can get more extra information, right? Remember that if you just host ASP.NET Core application, you will start getting basic telemetry data, right? But now by putting this instrumentation code, this is instrumentation. Instrumentation is nothing but putting some code in your application, which can start sending data, right? So this one is actually putting that code out there. But now you'll ask that, okay, so that means that this guy can send telemetry data to my application inside. So isn't there any kind of security? Because the application inside is like a database, right? So anybody should not be able to send data, right? So definitely that is there over here, right? When you create your web application, so here is your application inside. Whatever that telemetry data is there, it will come out here. But it will only come to those people, who have who are providing the instrumentation key out here, right? So we need to go and get the instrumentation key. So let us click on configuration, I think. From here, let us get the instrumentation key. So you can see this is the instrumentation key here. I can write, can't I? That is the connection string. Uh, Let me go to application insight. See, remember this is application insight. This is application insight. This is the app service. So when I'm at app service level, this blue sign is application insight, and this one is app service, right? So inside that, the application insight is connected to the app service. So please understand the difference. So actually, I was going to the application insight. I know that we have that key out there, but okay, so I get the key only from there, huh? Uh, the key is there in that connection string, but I was okay. Fine. So I'm going to go and copy this, right? Now this key, I need to go and put it in my app settings.json. So in my app setting.json, you can see out here, uh, I need to go and put this key, or else when this information is sent right to the telemetry, it will not work. Okay. So I'm going to go and do that, right? So I'll say here app setting.json. Right. And I will need my key. There is some key out there. I'll put this key out here. So now this application will now start sending telemetry data to the application insight. Okay, so I'm going to go and build this and publish it. So very easy. Now remember, I have not written any kind of code. I have not written any kind of tracing code. So now I'm using the words tracing, right? Or I have not written tracing code means what? I have not written any code here saying that index has been hit, privacy has been hit. Go and take this data and log the RAM, how much RAM has been consumed when you hit the index. So those kind of data I have not written anything at this moment. I've just ticked out here and given the key, and I'm expecting that it should start sending information, right? So I'll just go and publish it. Right, next. Now quest day, finish. Actually one more thing, if you remember, we have to enable out here is because it will not allow us to publish. Remember, we had done in the first class. Somewhere we have to go and enable SCM, or it will not allow us to publish. So we'll just make it on so that the basic publish is enabled, right? Save this. I hope if you remember in the last class, we had enabled this. Without this, it is not possible, right? So I'm going to go and hit publish out here, and there it is. It should now start publishing, and our application should start running. And once the application starts running, it will go and it will start logging that telemetry information into application insight. Okay. I'll come to questions. First, let me complete some demo at least out here. Remember, guys, a lot of people ask that how to do performance tuning in an application. So if we have errors on production, what should we do, right? If your code is not having instrumentation means some code out there saying that where you are hitting and so on, it is very difficult. Then you have to start guessworking. You have to say, oh, shayad wo pehla chala rahega, then that will run. Then you will go to the profiler, you will try to do something, right? So if, during the development phase itself, if you start putting instrumentation code out there, everything is good, right? So when people say na that how do I do performance tuning, start logging the perfmon data, start logging the tracing data, start logging those things, right? And remember, this tracing information does not run every time. When you say enable trace equal to true, then only it will run. Or else, those code will not run on production, will not run just as it is, right? So enable you don't until you don't enable the flag, they will not run. So I'll show that as well. Fine. So there the application is running now. So let me hit once or twice, right? And I'm expecting some telemetry information to be logged in. So now where do I go and see my telemetry information? So definitely my telemetry data, right? Which is coming through instrumentation. Look at look at the way I'm thinking. Not only telemetry, my telemetry data must be my tracing data, my profiling data, all come because of instrumentation, right? So instrumentation means when some kind of a code like this is put in your application, then only they will start publishing. Okay. So now let us go again to that application insight. Right. So over here, the best thing what I do is that I start with search directly. In case I want to go and see any kind of event, I like this a lot, right? But for now, what we'll do is we'll not go out here. Let us go and see the basic metrics, right? So once you can do the basic metrics, or else in the overview also, like if you see here at the overview, you can see that this is the server request which I see, right? So if I hit once or twice, I can see this information. Now remember that these information are default informations which are out there, right? Now, for example, also I can use this live metrics out here. This live metrics, what it does is it has all the live things. So like how many requests has been hit and so on. So in case you want to see it in live, so you can see here this is so the previous one which I showed, it takes some time to update, but here I can see them live. So for example, if I hit once or twice here like this, right? You can see this is now, you can see those spikes out here, right, which is coming, right? So you can see now by basic, he's doing some basic telemetry out here, right? And also you can go and see some other telemetry information also, like how many times the page is loaded and so on, right? So if I go here to performance, right? So over here somewhere down below, it will also show me, okay, like your index page took so much and your CSS took so much and so on, right? So these are basic telemetry information which you are seeing. But now you will say, no, sir, I don't want this. I want some custom telemetry information. Means what? Like when my index page is hit, I want to send an event that index has been hit. And when the index has been hit, I want to log the date and time. Okay, I want to log the current time. Now you're talking about putting custom telemetry, right? So to put custom telemetry, what you will do is to put custom telemetry, you will create the object of telemetry client. So you will create the object of telemetry client. So here it is home controller. So I will go out here and I will create an object of telemetry client. Again, this telemetry client belongs to the application insight namespace, right? And then what I can do is, for example, I'm out here to the index page and I can start saying that, okay, telemetry, right? Dot. Now, once you go out here, the Pandora box opens. He says, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to go and send some event? Do you want to go and send some data? Do you want to go and write some log, right? So you can see now a lot of things are coming out here, right? Which we can use. Okay. But what I will do is you can see here, I just put the track, right? Now, this is the most important part. So what do you want to track? Remember, if you just, for example, I've seen a lot of people, what they do, they just use track trace, track trace. If you just do track trace, right? Track trace, you can log a metric with a track trace, but then it won't be so effective. Remember, for example, what is the meaning of tracing? You have hit here, you have hit here, you have hit here. That's what the tracing is meant for. What do you mean by track metric? You are saying that, okay, how many requests per second? He will draw a graph accordingly, right? So there is some numbers out here. What do you mean by track event? Event and trace is different. Event means, oh, like index happened. Oh, this happened. So each one, like track dependency, says, okay, like, so I say index was hit. After that, the view index action was hit, then the view was hit, then he will draw a nice dependency graph saying that first he was called, then he was called, then he was called. So each one of these information what you put out from here, they have different colors and signs on the Azure portal. So if you just make everything track trace, right, it won't show you everything good, right? So for at this moment, I want to go and send a track event. So I want to say what is the event? Event is that now this is a custom event. I'll say index has been hit. Okay, index hit. Okay. Now with this also you want to go and send some custom information, right? So to send a custom information, what you will do is that you can go and you can create an anonymous collection or a dictionary, I will say, right, with the anonymous object. So for example, over here, we are creating a dictionary, and you can see this is an anonymous, I mean, like the object with a name and a value, right? So it's saying that, okay, my time, this is my custom property, right? My time with date and time, right? And then you can add something more out here. You will say, okay, something more, uh, value of I. I'm just saying that's nothing like this. So value of I, comma, put that value of I, right? So you can see all this information out there, right? And I'm going to go and write these details out here, right? So that means now when I go and hit this index, right, my telemetry client will go and send an event called as track event, right? With the index hit event, I'm sorry. And I can go and I can search the index hit event, and in that I can find a value of my time saying at what time this event happened, right? So let me go and publish this. So I'm going to go and build solution and I'm going to publish this, right? Okay. Actually, my internet, is it slow? Oh, it's connected. Okay. Actually, my internet is fluctuating from morning. Okay, updating file. Okay. So now let us go and hit our website. And once we hit our website, my goal is, so there it is, my page is running. Interesting. So what is the issue? Okay, fine. This is a nice, what do you call it? It's a nice opportunity to also go and see the errors, right? So how do I see the errors? You can see now what he's saying here. He's saying that an error occurred while processing request. Now, what by default ASP.NET Core or in app service, what they do by default, they don't reveal the code information, right? And even ASP.NET also by default, he runs in production mode. So because he's running in production mode, he's saying I can't do anything, right? So he's saying that go and change this ASP.NET Core environmental to development, and I will show you this error, right? Now, what you can do, one thing, what you can do is that you can go ahead here and you can go to your app settings and you will put here ASP.NET Core, this value, sorry, this value ASP.NET Core environment is development. And once you do that, what will happen is if the ASP.NET Core environment is development, you can see if it is development, then only he will show the developer exception page. So now he's not showing the exception page because he's saying no, like you're not in development environment, right? So one is I can put it out here and then publish, or what I can do is I can go to my app service and directly go and add this thing out there, right? So what I can do out here is I can go to my app service and say that uh, please go and add this property directly at the app service level. So at the app service level, what we'll do is we will add a configuration. So remember, whatever configurations you put out here, you can override them by putting out from here. Remember, one topic is of configuration, which we'll take later on. For example, I'm sorry. Uh, Even here, we don't have to put this instrumentation key. You know why? Because the instrumentation key was already supplied over here. So this was not necessary, but yes, I put it out there. So now, right. So also like over here, so one is you can put it out from here, or one is you can go and override it from here. So I'm going to go and override it. I will say that please make it development. So once I do development, what will happen is, and save it, he should start showing me the exceptions, right? So we'll see what the exception is. This page is running. Okay, there. What happened? Anything wrong? Now it is. I don't know. It was refreshing, right? Now you can see it's saying, oh, so sorry. So now it is showing me the exception, right? It's saying that, okay, your home controller does not have an object reference error. So yeah, that mistake I had done here. So sorry. So what happened is in this dependency injection, I have not, because this telemetry client will get injected automatically. Please understand this telemetry client object will get injected automatically because we have already said here services dot add application insight, right? So that's why, because this object is null, it is saying out here object reference not set to an instance, right? So let us go back here and let us put this thing out here. All right. So it's a good thing. We got this error and we are fixing it, right? So underscore telemetry client is equal to telemetry client. So that object will be dependency injected out here. In case you're new to dependency injection, please go and see our ASP.NET Core videos. You can also go and see ASP.NET Core interview questions. If you still don't understand, you can connect to me from Monday to Friday, right? So build, publish. See, this is what an ASP.NET developer should know how to work with Azure. Like a lot of people ask, right? So what do they expect from a developer? They expect that he should know all these things. He should know that there is a telemetry. He should know that if there is an error, I can set it from there and so on, right? So it is updating. So with that, now I think I will not get an exception. There it is. So everything is working very nice. So when I'm hitting out here, he is now invoking this track event, right? So this is getting event, this track event is getting invoked out here. So we want to go and see now, like you can see, I have hit it multiple times. So where should we go and see it, right? So first thing is, for everything, whatever you want, right, go to application insight. This is the place where uh, you will get all your information, right? So over here now, especially in case of the custom telemetry, I love the logs. मुझे logs बहुत अच्छा लगता है. I love the logs, where I can, because here I can go and I can start searching. One is the logs I like, and also the transaction search. This also I like a lot, right? So for here, what I'll do is I'll use the transaction search and I will say that my interest is to only see custom events. You can see there's custom event. I only want to see this, right? And nothing else. So I'll just say refresh, right? So you can see here, these are the custom events he has logged in. So you can see index hit. Okay, I'll just I can do a print screen, right? So you can see it is saying index hit happened here at 9:33:5, 9:33:4. This, remember, this one was that my time. Look at it. You can see now event name index hit and my time is this, right? So uh, so you can see here, you can put your custom values also. And remember, these custom values, you can go ahead and you can put it as a report also. You can say that, okay, let's say custom value is RAM consumption. So, okay, RAM consumption, when index it, how much it is, right? So that's a very simple example of sending telemetry information by putting instrumentation code out here by using telemetry client and then publishing it on application insight and seeing the same, right? So guys, any questions here? I know that. Okay, so now what my next plan is, let me take a little bit of breather and ask you question. Let's see the questions out there. So you can see here now, I just talked about track event. I'm really interested to show you a demo of track trace as well, of track metric as well, and especially track dependency as well, right? So metric, trace, and so on, right? I want to show that information as well, show that demo as well. But let us go to the questions out here. Let me go to the questions out here. So guys, a lot of people said that, oh, my name is getting published right in the video. So I'm going to go and stop sharing, right? Let me, Okay, how to see the duration it takes by the, okay, let me start from top. Okay. Okay, let me start from top out here. Yeah, sorry, Nikhil, I was just, yeah. Okay. Okay, can we configure app inside for a VM? So app inside for a VM, yes. So, see, everybody can have an app inside. Yes, even for a VM, there is an app inside, Praveen, right? Uh, but remember the metrics will be different, like CPU and RAM and so on, right? If I have an application hosted in one of the Azure VM and application service, how can I log this message into application inside using telemetry? If I have application hosted, see, if you have a good question out here, uh, if I have an application hosted, like for example, very good question out here. So let's take this question. So question is that if I have an application hosted anywhere, forget about the VM, right? Can I go and use application inside? Absolutely. You can think about this application insight and open telemetry as, as logs, for application data, right? So think about it. Here you have your application insight. I can I can just make it as a database only, right? As a database, and you have open telemetry, which is a third party. And this is also there, and there are many other things. So here is your ASP.NET application, right? If he wants to go and log information here, he can. Now where he runs it, it is immaterial. He can run from your local host also. For example, look at this. At this moment, the time is 9:37. Look at it. At this moment, the time is 9:37, and in 9:37, no there is no event logged with 9:37. But if I run this from my local host also, if I run this from a local host also, it will go and log in the telemetry information from here to there. Why? Because it is telemetry, right? It is going to log information from one source to a destination. If you remember when I started my class, I said that telemetry means log. It's distributed. So I can send data from a local host, and it should go and log it to the online. So you can see here I'm running on my local host. Uh, okay, let me run in a release mode. So this when I run in a debug mode, it actually goes and starts loading something. So let me run. So there it is. You can see now this is 9:38 approximately. I've ran it 2 or 3 times, right? So I'm running in my box. Okay. But now over here, if I now go here and say refresh, I can see I just taken custom event. I think it takes some time. It's 9:35. You check it. So I'm expecting still 9:38. Why he did not log? He should have logged this event. No idea why he did not log it. Uh, yeah, there you can see, guys. Now you can see there is 9:38 event. It takes some time to come actually, right? I'm just becoming hyper. 35, and then you can see now there is 38. So answering your question out there, I think this question was coming from uh, right. You're not able to view the screen. Okay, so sorry, I'm starting from top. Uh, oh, fresher students. So sorry, Mayur, right? I'll try that. Thank you very much. Yeah, Mayur, just try to go and see once the videos again. I do understand that I can be very fast a lot of times, right? And please connect to me from Monday to Friday if you don't understand some concepts. If there are any freshers out here, I'm so sorry. If there are any freshers out here, if something you are not understanding, right, please try to connect to me from Monday to Friday, right? So sorry for that hurriness of explanation, right? Uh, okay, where do I start here? Yes, that is right. Telemetry is sending data. Yeah, Bhavnesh has given a very detailed answer out there. What is different between instrumentation and logging? See, instrumentation, as I've said, Ravindra, it is nothing but it is a process of putting the code in your application. Like on this click, send a event, right? Logging is more in logging a error into file and then seeing that thing, in different way. Like, so instrumentation is a process of writing a code. For example, at this moment, I wrote a code out here. When I wrote a code out here, right? So this code, try to understand it. This code, which I put out here, is instrumentation. I have put an instrument in my code, which will send the information of index hit, right? Log means this is the iLogger out here. So when you have an exception, you would like to log it, right? It's something different. You log it into your server actually but a telemetry information is not logged into a server. Instrumentation sends the information to something like application insight or uh, something like some any other source or any other destination, right? Who can log telemetry information. Okay. It's okay. See, guys, specifically, I want to give a minute to talk about freshers out here. This class can be very fast for freshers. I can understand it, right? So in case you are fresher not in .NET, but in Azure, you can still catch up. But if you're fresher in ASP.NET Core, then it's going to get very difficult to catch up, right? So please connect me from Monday to Friday. Must be I can help you. We can use AI logs to create Azure, which is for troubleshooting errors. Yes, right. You can do AI and all. वो बाद में करेंगे. Yes, you can log these errors, do an artificial intelligence over it, and so on. Uh, Extra as performance. So good question from Mohit here. So adding this NuGet packages and adding this code, will it have some performance problem? No. Telemetry information runs, only when you say that you want to run telemetry information. You can disable telemetry information. I'll show that, right? So if you say, no, I don't want to do any telemetry now, fine. He will disable it, right? So you can disable that. So I don't think there is any kind of performance compromise over here. Logging is a blocking call. When you log a file or log an error, it's a blocking call. So that can have a performance issue. Is this only for Azure or we can use pure .NET host application? You can use it on pure .NET IIS, as I've said, Mohit. You can use it for .NET, right? Yes, yes. I can see the No, I wanted to, so very quickly, Nikhil, I wanted to see only that instrumentation key. I was seeing the whole connection string, right? So that's why I was hunting here and there, right? If I have application hosted on one Azure VM and application is a service, how can I log? So I have already said, Nilesh, I think this question is asked again and again. Your application can run anywhere. If it has the instrumentation key, he will go and log it into application insight. Application insight will be on Azure. Your application is running anywhere. Only that key should be there and the proper code should be there, right? No, logger and telemetry are different. You can't replace a logger with telemetry. I've already explained, Jagdish. So again, like Sachin's question, we can use iLogger to log messages. See, if you log messages into a text file, let me ask you one question. If you log message into a text file, right? Look at the way application insight shows you the graphs. For example, I can go here to the overview. I can see these beautiful graphs out here, like how many hits happened, what happened, right? What happened here? When was this server request? And many other things, which we'll be seeing tomorrow. Like I can go and I can export this to Power BI and do things, right? These kind of things we can't do through a log file. A log file is not meant for that. Getting it? So you can think about that. This instrumentation is like a dashboard, right? It can show you graphs, it can show you pie charts, it can show you flying graphs, it can show you, it can export data, right? You will be able to search data. Okay. Tomorrow we'll do Sumedha. Open telemetry we'll do tomorrow, right? We'll do tomorrow open telemetry. Yeah, Pratik, injection was wrong. And why I wanted to show that how to see the errors. So that's why I did not correct it right away. And I shown you that how to go and enable the development and then see the errors and then fix it, right? Is New Relic one of the third-party tool? Yes, it's a third-party tool, right? See, I'm not aware of the third party tools, but sometimes what happens is a lot of people feel this application inside is not good because they want something more, right? For example, somebody says, okay, can you tell me how much RAM has been consumed over the period of 24 hours? Now, for that, what you have to go and work out something, right, on the Azure telemetry. So if you want something very custom things, right, then must be Azure instrumentation will not work. But I think for most of the cases it works. Remember that whenever I find that someone is actually going and buying a tool again for telemetry and for instrumentation, matlab kuch to problem hai, right? So before exploring any third party, right, just see that the current Azure things actually works for you or not, right? How to send exceptions? So I have already said, see exceptions again, that everything is a part of that telemetry. In this, you have track exceptions. This is exception. See, when you see this event, right, look at the icon of the events. I just wanted to show that. Means when you actually go and see all data, and let us say, when you actually go and see this, look at this, the events. Okay, okay, this is, you can see now I can even group the events, right? The event sign, let's say view in the logs. Let's see here, इसमें I have to go and put that event. I want to only see events. Why am I not seeing custom events? So, right. So what? Yeah, there it is. I can see the custom event right away. See, when you're seeing events, right? When you're seeing these events out here, you can see now there's an event out here. You can search as well. Huh? You can go and you can filter and you can search as well, right? If you look at the event icons, right, they're different. I'm like, if you look at the previous event icons and colors, they are different. I'm just like, in this case, here it is not seen. In case of this one, when I was seeing out here, so sorry for this mess, See, look at the event colors, they are different. But if this was an exception, right, it will show me a nice red. Okay, so just make sure that you can use this track exception. Okay, when you use a track exception, it will show you a proper red color. You will come to know that this is the exception, right? Okay, track exception, Masood. How can we take advantage simply on a private cloud? So as I already told Mahit, right, you can like, you are either on a private cloud or a public cloud or anything, right? You can just take the connection string, point it towards the application side and start tracking it, right? Uh, yeah, that is custom insight, or I'll say it's a custom event, Manor. It's a custom event. Okay. Monday to Friday, send a mail. Send a mail. Yeah, Sravani, please connect to me. Please connect to me. All this debit card, credit card. Don't put any information out here. Oh, what is this? Don't put any kind of information out here. इसको delete कर दो भाई, श्रावणी का information को please. Okay. Uh, okay, there are some questions out here. I know why all the questions are not seen. I think I've attended all the questions, or is some question missing? It's okay. Sorry. Uh, okay, how to configure? Yeah, it takes. No, it does not take 30 minutes, Ajay. It does not take 30, but it takes some time. How costing works for application insight? Can telemetry work for Docker containers? So yeah, so there are some questions out here. Uh, can telemetry work for Docker containers? I've already said, right? Just go and say telemetry.send event. It will work anywhere, right? How costing works for application insight? I think for application insight, it is the size. What is that, right? So if the size goes above something, the application insight will start. And also, I think on the number of hits is it is that like number of how many times you're hitting application insight. Okay, I'll take this question. I'll because the costing part. So costing of application insight, we can discuss this tomorrow. It's a good question. Open telemetry. All right, I think this one is there tomorrow as well. Let's put it out here. Okay. I have only 10 minutes. I will not take any new topics. I don't know. I'm getting this question again. Can I have desktop app? I can use Azure to get logs for it. No, desktop app to get Azure logs. I think Azure logs, or I will say if you want to get Azure telemetry, I don't know. See, you can the Azure telemetry information is exposed through an API. So if you want, you can get through an API, but I'm not sure if any. It is not logs. It is not log Shubham. It is application insight is like a database you can think about, right? Where it is stored. So if you want to get information, you can probably they can export through CSV file, or the best one is make an API call. Sir, I have a doubt. Which one is more efficient? Configure VM and host 5 applications in one VM, or configure or host 5 separate service as PaaS? See, very difficult to answer this question, Manor, until I look at your application, right? Let us say that your application is very small. Okay. Then must be configuring VM and hosting 5 application would be good, right? And second, remember that if that VM goes down, all your application goes down, right? So if you think that no, like you know, if one application, if all the application goes down, it is okay, then I think you can use a VM. And about if you're asking about the cost factor, only the cost factor. Now forget about the scalability and what do you call other things, right? It is very difficult to guess from here. Very, very difficult. तो देख के मालूम पड़ेगा. Right? Okay, Girish, I taken that. Tomorrow we'll discuss Jagdish on this application insight cost. Okay. Okay, guys. So thank you very much. I think I have only 5 minutes, guys. Tomorrow, what we'll do, right? Tomorrow, first thing, let me share what we'll do, right? Actually, I wanted to do a lot of things today, but then one is we'll look into these types first. Track exception, track metrics, track request. These are important ones. We'll have a look at it. Point number one. Second, we'll also look into open telemetry. There is one more very nice option called as open telemetry. We'll have a look at that as well, right? Third, we will look at the costing. I think this is a very important one, that what is the cost? Like, can I just use application insight, for a lot of data, right? Let us see this also, right? And also how to go and disable telemetry. Because sometimes what will happen, you'll say, no, like I don't want to enable telemetry. So you can disable telemetry also, how to go about it, right? So this was in today's class, what we have done, right? Okay, so guys, thank you very much. Tomorrow, same 9 to 10 p.m. we will connect, right? And we'll continue our classes, right? Again, the same question, Naresh. Can telemetry be configured on premise? Yes, you can. See okay, on premise, then you have to use open telemetry. I'm sorry, Naresh. I mean, like I thought that the open telemetry, so that's the open source for that. Yes. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Thanks a lot.